I want you to really think this morning and understand that your results are telling the truth about you. Regardless of what you say, regardless of what anyone else says, it's our results that tell us what's going on inside. Let's ask ourselves, how do results happen? Think about that for a moment. How do results happen? Because that's what everybody wants to change. Maybe somebody at the back could help you. There's a delay on this, I guess. I want you to take a real close look at your own results. And then ask yourself, how did this happen? You know, we come to a meeting like this, and we see someone get up to the front that's really made something big happen in this business. And we know them, and we remember when they were struggling. What the heck happened? What got them to take off like a rocket? You'll find people come in here, and they've never done anything up to this point with their life, and then all of a sudden away they go. And you gotta ask yourself, what was holding them back, and what got them going? That's a very important question. I was 26. I had a man sit down with me, and he put a great big R on a chalkboard. If you're really into YouTube, you've probably seen this on there. Then he put 3 letters down beside it. Said that's happiness, health, and wealth. And he asked me, he said, Bob, do you ever think of changing your results? Well, you know, I really hadn't. I wanted to change my life. I was not happy with the results I was getting. But I don't ever think that it entered my mind that I could change my results. I wasn't happy with them. He pointed out to me, he said, you've got to be, first he asked me, do you think I'm a happy person? And I had to say, yes, I think he is. He was a great, big, healthy guy. He said, have you ever seen me sick? I had to admit I hadn't. He said, have you ever seen me when I was broke? I hadn't. This guy always had a lot of money on him. And he said, well, you've got to be one of the most miserable people I have ever met. And you know something? I was a very unhappy guy. And I look back, I think that I was an unhappy child. I've never really been happy. Well, people say, well, you must be happy at times. I don't think I was. I had fun on occasion, but fun and happiness are 2 different things. Fun is very shallow, and it's very short-lived. Happiness runs very deep, and it's long-lasting. I did not understand the difference, but I knew I wasn't happy. He said, you're always sick. I said, you don't have a terminal illness, but you always got a headache or a cold or something. And he said, you're always broke. Now, he was being kind. I was earning $4,000 a year at the time, and I owed $6,000. So you see, if you do the math, if I had taken every cent I earned for 18 months and paid debt, I would have just broken even, and I would have had nothing to live on. It was an impossible situation. Really was. And the idea of changing that never entered my mind. I would just struggle from one day into the next. I'd wake up and I just work my way through the day. Well, he said, do you ever read anything? I said, no, I can't read. And that wasn't true. I could read, but not very well. I've since found out I read about as well as most people. Most people read at about a grade 7 level, and that's because they've learned to read by the time in grade 7, and they never improve upon the skill from that point on. And he said, Bob, I'm going to give you a book. And he said, I want you to read it. I want you to read every word of it. And I want you to keep reading it for the rest of your life. And he gave me this book. Now, I've got this held together with an elastic because the book is now falling apart. I've read this every day for 59 years. I was 26 when I got it. And he said, read it every day and do exactly what he tells you, and you can have anything you want. Now, I didn't believe that. How am I going to believe that? I was struggling. I hadn't gone to school. I had 2 months high school. I had no business experience. I'd always held dumb jobs, and I had trouble holding those jobs. And here is the guy telling me I could have anything I wanted. Now, there's someone here in the audience that's in much the same position I was in. No formal education, no real business experience. They're unhappy, sick, and broke. But they're here in the audience. There's someone here like that. That's the person I want to talk to. And the rest of you can listen to me. You see, that person really doesn't believe down deep that they can change their situation. I'm going to tell you something. I started to do what he said. I started to read this. And I started to listen to him. And everything in my life changed. 1 year later, I was earning $175,000 a year. Now, how do you go from $4,000 a year to $175,000? I just went to work. I had set a goal of having $25,000. The book said, set the goal, write it on a card, carry the card in your pocket, read it as often as possible every day. So that's what I did. And you know, what it actually caused me to do, it caused me to think of earning some money. Prior to that, all I was thinking about was debt, getting out of debt. If your goal is to get out of debt, you'll probably stay in debt forever. Because you really, truly do become what you think about. Somebody said there was good money cleaning offices. I said, I'm not proud of cleaning offices. I started cleaning one office. I get $15 a time to wash the floor. I wash it twice a month. Then I got another contract for $65 a month. Now I'm up to $95 a month. I ended up earning $1 million a year in less than 5 years. I was cleaning offices in Toronto, Montreal, Boston, Cleveland, Atlanta, and right here in London. I had an office up in Feltham, out near the airport. But I worked mostly in West London. I was cleaning offices all over the place. Now, I wasn't cleaning them myself, I got other people cleaning them. I was earning over $1 million a year. I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I was what you call an unconscious competent. I was throwing money all over the place. I'd go to the Playboy right next to the London Hilton. I'd go in there and play roulette. I didn't care if I lost, and I usually won. And one day I thought, I'm not being very responsible. Something inside me moved, and they said, you're not living right. See, earning a lot of money is not a secret. It's learning how to live when you're in a lot of money is the secret. Most people don't know how to do that. So at any rate, I was raised with the idea, if you're going to earn a lot of money, you've got to be really smart. I knew I wasn't that smart, but I was earning a lot of money. I was raised to believe if you're going to do well, you've got to go to school. I hadn't gone to school. I went to high school for 2 months. So I knew that wasn't true because I didn't just have a good job, I owned the whole company. Now, I really started, and I tried to find somebody who could tell me what happened, and I couldn't find them. Do you know, it took me 9.5 years to find out how my life changed. And when I found out, all I wanted to do was teach it to other people. I was just talking backstage, and Somebody was asking me if I knew how many times I had spoken. I said, no. I said, I don't even see myself as a speaker. I see myself more as a teacher. This is not the usual environment for me. I would like to have you here for a week. Then I can teach you something. I'm just going to provoke your mind a little here today. It took me 9.5 years, and when I found out, all I wanted to do was teach it. And so that's what I started to do. I left my own company. I took a job in Chicago for $18,000 a year. I was prepared to pay them to let me work there. 5 years later, I was only earning $33,000. But I had gone to work with Earl Nightingale, who I considered the dean of personal motivation. He was such a bright guy. And I wanted to work with him. I wanted to find out what made him tick. Because I knew if I found that out, I'd learn something about myself. Now, here's one of the keys to the whole deal. It's in this paragraph. I have the paragraph in here. It was highlighted with yellow marker. Now, the yellow marker is pretty well faded, but it's still there. And I believe one of the secrets is right here that we should all study. He said there's a difference between wishing for a thing and being ready to receive it. Some of you want to be in the chairman, maybe chairman at 10,000. But you want to get there. Well, I'm going to tell you, if you don't believe that you can get there, you're not ready. He said there's a difference between wishing for a thing and being ready to receive it. No one's ready for a thing until they believe that they can acquire it. The state of mind must be belief and not mere hope or wish. See, most people hope something will happen, they wish it would happen, but until they believe it, they're not ready for it because they don't know that they're making it happen. You can actually make it happen in your life. You might be struggling right up till now. That doesn't matter. You don't think in reverse. Don't look back. There's a key right there. I'm going to tell you what happened. I was in a restaurant having lunch with a mentor of mine, Leland Vanderbilt. He's gone now, God bless him, but I learned so much from him. We were having something to eat, and I had been trying to figure this word out, believe. I found out that there's only two sources of reference you can go to find out anything about yourself. One's science and the other's theology. There is nowhere else to go. Both science and theology are clear that you've got to believe. I don't care what religion you are, there's only a half a dozen. They all tell you the same thing. You've got to believe. I thought, how do you believe? See, if somebody's sitting here, they would love to learn how to believe. How do you believe? Means you just can't believe. There's more to it than that. Belief is something that penetrates every fiber of your being. We were having lunch, and just in idle conversation, Al said, our belief system is based upon our evaluation of something. And frequently, if we reevaluate a situation, our belief about it will change. It was just like lights going on in my head. For the first time, it clicked. I was studying everything, trying to figure out how to believe. And it dawned on me. That's why my life changed. I believed I could do it. Prior to that, I didn't believe it. And I believed because I had studied so much. You've got to do the work. If you don't do the work, it ain't going to happen. It may happen for a short time, but you'll lose it all. You got to believe. It's got to be something inside. When you reevaluate a situation, frequently your belief about that situation will change. I was reevaluating who I was, what made me tick. Now here's something interesting. No more effort is required in order to aim high in life, to demand abundance and prosperity than is required to accept misery and poverty. It doesn't take any more effort. It takes no more effort to earn $500,000 a month than it does to earn $1,000 a month. Some of you think, oh, it must take a lot. No, it doesn't. Your results are nothing but the manifestation of your own thinking. There's a power flowing into your consciousness. While I'm talking to you, it's flowing in, it's flowing to and through you. You make out of it whatever you want. You take this phenomenal power and you think. And that's the difference. Now take a look at this. That is a photograph of the real you. Back in the 1930s, around 34, a Russian by the name of Semyon Kurlin, he perfected a form of photography where you can photograph a body and you'll see nothing but a ray of energy around the body. And if the person changes their thinking, the color and the density of that energy changes. It's pretty wild when you stop and think about it. It's not who you are that's holding you back. It's who you think you're not. People don't understand themselves. For 26 years, I was going around knocking my head against the wall, working hard, going backwards. All the energy was taking me in the wrong direction. I was mixing with the wrong people. You want to take a real close look at the people you're spending a lot of time with, because they're making you who you are to a large degree. I don't spend a lot of time with people that are going in the wrong direction. I don't think I'm any better than anybody. I know I'm not. We're all the same. It's our results that are different. And that's what we can change. Our results are always under construction. You see the people up here, the top people in the company, their results are under construction just the same as yours are. We're always working at changing them. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you're doing. You're always changing your results. Always. I had the good pleasure of working with this man in 1969, Eric Hoffer. He never went to school, ever. He was a Russian immigrant, came to America with his dad when he was a little boy. But he always had a library card, and he became quite a reader. Then he became a writer. Now, this was in 1969. In that time, things were really starting to change. We thought they were going at a real fast clip. The truth is we were just starting to change. He said, in times of change, the learners will inherit the earth. I took that to be a metaphor that you're going to be happy, healthy, and wealthy. The learners will inherit the earth. Well, the learned find themselves beautifully equipped to deal with a world that no longer exists. If you're not studying you, if you're not studying what makes you tick, you're probably not going to go much further than you've already gone. If you do start studying you, no one knows how far you can go. The ones who think they already know it, the learned. There's no such thing as a learned person, by the way. That's a misnomer. You're either learning or you're not. Learning isn't something you fill up and put a cap on. Now think. They're dealing with a world that doesn't exist any longer. Now to learn, you need a certain degree of confidence. Not too much, and not too little. If you have too little, you'll think you can't learn. If you have too much, you'll think you don't have to learn. Now, unfortunately, we've been raised in a world that if a person earns a lot of money, they think they know it all. I know people that earn a lot of money, they don't know hardly anything. Not too much and not too little. If you have too little, you think you can't learn. If you have too much, you think you don't have to learn. I ask God every day to keep me at that certain level of confidence. I know that I don't know a lot. I know there's so much more to learn. Now think. The only thing you have to do here today to really change your life is make a decision. That's it. If you don't remember anything else, that's the only thing you have to remember. You're not going to remember everything I tell you, because I'm going to fire a lot of information at you. But if you'll remember this, I just need to make a decision. Where are you going to go? What are you going to do? with this company. That's all you need to know. Now look at this for a moment. Let these lines represent levels of vibration. Okay? We'll let them represent levels of vibration. They're called frequencies. Every frequency is hooked up to the one above and the one below. Every one of them. Let's say, we get this working, go ahead, like it to work. Let's say that Y represents you, your cell phone. This Y represents me. If I get your number in my phone and I touch send, big like that, won't matter where you are in the world, I'm connected to you. This is big. We seem to have a basic understanding of this when using our phones. However, when it comes to life, we get lost. Now, just basics. We all understand. If I have your number and I hit send, you and I are going to be connected. It doesn't matter where you are. You could be in Yokohama, I could be in Miami. Or I could be here in London and you could be in Kosovo. It doesn't matter where we are. If I get on your frequency, magic starts to happen. We're communicating. Now, I'm going to tie this into a decision in a moment. There is a photograph of President John Kennedy and Dr. Wernher von Braun. Dr. Wernher von Braun was probably one of the most brilliant scientists that ever lived. He is considered the father of the space program. Way back in the early 60s, President Kennedy asked Dr. Wernher von Braun, what would it take to build a rocket that would carry a person to the moon and bring him back safely to Earth? Now that's a big question. He didn't even have to think about it. He answered him right away. He said, all you need is the will to do it. And that's all you need to go to charity, any level. That's it. Now, I'm going to show you why that's all you need. I want you to really think, pay real close attention. Don't just hear me, you hear with your ears. You listen with your emotions. Let yourself get involved in this. See, I did this when I was 26, but I didn't know what I was doing. So I was an unconscious confident. I was winning, but I didn't know why, so I couldn't share it with anybody. I want to help people understand how to do it, then they can transfer it to somebody else, because that's what you're doing. You don't just don't want to be chairman, you want to get somebody else under you to come in and be a chairman, be a new chairman. Now look at this. Here we go again. Let these lines represent levels of vibration. I just talked about it with the phone, you understand that. Levels of vibration are more commonly referred to as frequencies. We think on frequencies. We think on frequencies. Just as our phone operates on frequency, so does our mind. And so we're on a frequency and we're entertaining thoughts, and that's what dictates the results we get. You think dumb thoughts, you think thoughts of debt, and I guarantee you, you're going to be in debt. So we say we're here, but because we're spiritual beings, there's something in us wants to express itself in a great way. We want to go there. We want to go there. So somebody's sitting here and they're saying, I'm going to get a chairman. 10,000, that's what I'm going to get. I'm going to get the chairman 10,000. That's what I'm going to do. As soon as I get the right people. I'm going to get there as soon as they start doing something. I'm going to get there as soon as the company does this. And pretty soon, the decision fades. And then the goal fades. You know what's the matter? They're stuck. They're stuck down here. This is where their minds operate. If you say you want to go there, you better understand what you're doing. Your mind and thoughts must operate on the same frequency as your goal. If it doesn't, you're never going to go there, baby. It's just not going to happen. How do we do that? We start to study people that have gone there. Pay attention to them. What are they doing? How do they dress? Who do they mix with? What are they reading? How do they work? You see, a person's living on an AM frequency trying to get FM music. It won't work. If you want it to happen, you got to go there. You're going to make a committed decision today, right now, of what you're going to do. The second you do that, you flip your brain onto a higher frequency. You've got to think and act like the person you want to become. And when you do that, the lower way is gone. You cannot think on both frequencies at the same time. It won't fly. It just won't work. You got to get on there. You got to think like the person that's there. You got to walk like that person. You got to talk like that person. You don't look at them up here and think they're different. They're no different than you. They think different than you. I'm going to tell you something. It would be very easy for you to leave here and really believe that they're different than you. I spent a lot of time talking to this gay woman that to a number of the real heavy hitters in this company. And you know something? They're no different than you. And I could see when Ray first gave me this book, I thought he was different than me. He was not different than me. He tried to explain he wasn't different. The thing that was different was his results. And his results were different because he behaved differently. He studied, I didn't. He was out trying to help people. I was trying to get help. Quit looking for help. Offer help. How can I help you? You'll find everything you want comes to you. You got to think and act like the chairman you want to become. Now. Now listen. When you do that, your intellect is on that level. When you get emotionally involved in it, your emotion's on that level. The only thing that's not is the physical world. It has not manifested yet. But this whole universe operates by law. You saw the picture of Dr. Werner von Braun? He said the natural laws of this universe are so precise that we don't even have any difficulty today building spaceship, sending the people to the moon, and we can time the landing with the precision of a fraction of a second. These laws must have been set by someone. If you will make a commitment that you're going to study what I'm talking about every day, no one can guess at how far you'll go. When I take a look at the money some of these people are earning and the good they can do with it, you didn't spend it all. You can't take it with you. Since you can't take it with you, you don't even own it. You just have use of it. You're a distributor of it. You're the person looking after it. We build schools in Africa. Every 2 weeks we build a new school. Thousands of kids over there are getting an education just because we earn some money. If I can do that, you can do that. The satisfaction you get is incredible. Now look, you've got to think and act like the person you want to become. Now get this. Very few people understand this. Want is the only prerequisite. That's all you need. You just have to want to get there. Yep, that's it. You don't have to be in the business a long time. You don't have to earn a lot of money. You don't even have to be well-read. You can be like me. No formal education, no business degrees, nothing going for you. In fact, on the surface it looked like it was going against me. But you know something? I wanted what Ray Stanford had. Yet, this is what most people don't understand. You do not have to know how to do it. You do not have to know how to do it. But you've got to want it. And if you want it, you'll figure it out. You see, that is why successful people make decisions so fast. They don't need to gather a whole pile of information. That's where I'm going. That is why Wernher von Braun answered Kennedy right away. He's all you need is the will to do it. Imagination is one of the most marvelous tools you've got. But you've got others too. You've got the will, perception, reason, intuition, the will, memory. These are all higher faculties. We don't use them. We don't even know how they work. I can walk by you in the hall and I can tell you exactly what you're like. I'm not exaggerating. Everything going on the inside shows on the outside. I've got a very, very, very sensitive, intuitive factor. Not by accident, I decided to develop it. I worked with Harry Lorraine. I saw him fly in from New York to Toronto. It's an hour's flight. Bought Newsweek magazine, memorized the whole damn magazine on the flight into Toronto. The whole magazine. You could ask him anything in that magazine. It was a current magazine. From that week, he could tell you what's ever in it. You could start reading on page and you stop and you pick it up where you left off. He said, Harry, how long do you remember something? He said, till I want to forget it. Jerry Lucas, a partner of his, was teaching people in San Francisco how to memorize the Bible. Most people can't conceive how to even read the Bible. I had a psychiatrist in our seminar, in our Matrix seminar in Toronto one time, from Saudi Arabia, Abdullah. He was teaching people to memorize the Quran. Most people couldn't conceive reading it. Everybody's got a perfect memory. You've got perfect intuition. You've got a perfect imagination. You've got a perfect will. The will is what gives you the ability to hold the idea of your goal on your mind to the exclusion of all outside distractions. That's why von Braun said, all you need is the will to do it. You make a decision where you're going to go in this company, the will to do it. Don't listen to people telling you why you can't. Don't spend 5 seconds with those people. Get the hell away from them. They'll just ruin what's going on. Decision. That must be a committed decision. Tell somebody you're going to do this, somebody you respect, and say, I would appreciate it if you would hold me accountable for doing this. Don't just tell anybody. Tell somebody you respect. You want them to respect you. So say, I'm going to make this decision. And then, just give yourself a command and then follow it. This I will do. Quit screwing around with your life. Life is short. When it's over, it's over. Do something big with it. I've been asked many times, Bob, if you were starting over, what would you do? I would do what you're doing. I would be in network marketing. I would. I'm going to tell you why. I want to explain why. I might just have come out of prison. You'd give me an opportunity. I might have just messed up right up till now in my life. You'd give me the opportunity. Or I might be a minister, you'd give me the opportunity. I might be an executive in a company that's struggling, you'd give me the opportunity. Everybody gets the same deal. Every woman, every man gets exactly the same deal. Where can you go? Wherever you decide to go. And it possesses a strategy that is wealthy people have used as far back as the ancient Babylonians. You have multiple sources of income. Do you know there's some people that are receiving an override on what all of you do? When you sell something, somebody in here gets a piece of it. Is it worth disciplining yourself to do the job? It sure is. It sure is. Now look, understand this. You you can actually create your own economy. It doesn't matter what the government's doing. It doesn't matter what the wise ones say. You can create your own economy. When I learned that, I earn what I decide to earn. Nobody else decides how much I earn. I make that call. And I like earning a lot of money. I do. I like giving away a lot of money. And I like living good. And I do. And everyone can. I haven't got anything going for me that everybody else got going for them. You can create your own economy. I think every one of you is very good asleep at night. Just say a quiet prayer. Never change things by fighting the existing reality. I don't care if you're broke. You see, I was fighting the existing reality until Ray gave me this book. Ned gave me some good advice. Forget the past. It doesn't matter what you've done in the past, whether you've done something or done nothing. I have done nothing. He said, forget it. I said, I didn't go to school. He said, forget it. Don't think any reason why you can't do it. Only think of how you can. You never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change things, you build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. You can build a new model in here today. You can actually build a new model in here today. It's a beautiful way to think, and it's a beautiful way to live. Now, understand, most of you are being controlled by paradigms. Most of us, not most of us, all of us are being controlled to a large degree. A paradigm is a mental program that has almost exclusive control over our habitual behavior, and almost all of our behavior is habitual. What we've got to do is say, I'm not going to do that today, I'm going to do this today, and make a change. Just change one habit, one habit. Get in the habit of talking to somebody about this every day. I don't care if you only talk to one person, but you're going to do it every day. I mean, you got that into a habit, you automatically do it, then talk to two. Within a month, you're going to be talking to people all day long about the most phenomenal idea that you have ever heard of. Then we got people that are earning $1 million a year. They live the way they want to live. They're free. Both men and women. Everybody's the same deal. This is a big idea. You just got to quit living the way you're habitually living. You got to grow. You got to grow. If you're going to grow, you got to change, baby. The old way won't work. And I remember when Ray told me that. He said, read this every day. Every day. Every day. I was reading this at 4 o'clock this morning. I read it every day. Every day. And I will read it every day as long as I can read. Most people are experts in their own movement. Wish I could do that. I remember one day I was in the back of the room, the O'Hare Hyatt in Chicago. Bill Gove, who I considered the Frank Sinatra of speakers, he was the greatest speaker in the world. Standing at the front of the room, there was about 1,000 people in the room, be about 500 here, 500 here, and there was an aisle. He was standing in the aisle, he had a handheld mic. He said, if I want to be free, I've got to be me. Not to me I think you think I should be. Not to me I think my kids think I should be. And I thought, God, guy's so good. He said, you better figure out who me is. I'm in the back of the room thinking, God, that guy ever good. See, I'd studied this. I had a ton of it. I was afraid to stand up and speak. I was so shy. Now, I had played the same record. When I started, it was all on records. There was no online or anything like that. No cassettes. Anyway, I listened to this one record, Magic Word, by Earl Nightingale. He said, now right here we come to a rather strange fact. We tend to minimize the things we can do, the goals we can reach, and for some equally strange reason, we think other people can do things we cannot. You don't want you to understand that's not true. That you've got deep reservoirs of talent and ability within you. And you can do anything. Here I am. If you'd asked me if I understood that, I said, of course I understand. I've listened to it 1,000 times. But I'm in the back of the room, your hair high. Bill goes in the front of the room. He's got everybody eating out of his hands. It was so good. It's that kind of like, oh, you do that. And all of a sudden, this record that I had listened to 1,000 times started playing in my head. Right here we come to a rather strange fact. We tend to minimize the goals we can reach. And I thought, damn, that's what he means by that. I'm not only going to learn what he's doing, I'm going to get him to teach me. And I did. Bill Grove and I became great friends. And he taught me how to stand in front of thousands of people and share my thinking with them. Now, I don't speak anything like Bill Grove. If you'd listen to Bill, totally different speaker than me. You know what he taught me? He taught me to be comfortable here in front of you. If I'm nervous, I can't share a good idea with you. All I can share is bad nerves. I was comfortable here as if I was sitting at home petting my dog. Most people are extras in their own movie. You got to decide what you really want. That's why I said you got to make a decision. What do you really want? You got to set a goal. Don't leave this building without setting a goal. And you better meet it. And you want to ask someone that you're very close to, that you respect, to make you accountable for it. This I will do. You can go to 10,000 so damn fast it would make your head spin. No, you can't. Now, if you've never earned that, you think you couldn't. Don't believe it, you can. You go to 50 or 100 just as fast. All it takes is the belief. Now look, it's all about the mind. It's all about the mind. Really get that straight. Your Margaret's mind. Not mine, yours. Everything I'm saying here is true about you. That is true about you. You are a massive energy and you function on a very high frequency. That's the truth about you. You know that there's no one alive that can even guess at what you are capable of doing? No one! The wisest among us cannot even guess at what you are capable of doing. And every once in a while you find some poor soul that's lost. Well, like that they wake up. And everything changes. Everything changes. If somebody had told me, when Ray gave me this book, that I would be doing what I'm doing today, I would have thought they were hallucinating. I have worked all over the world, literally all over the world, for many years. And that would have been a sheer fantasy. In fact, at first it is a fantasy. No one knows what you're capable of doing. They really don't. And the wisest among us will tell you that. They don't even know. You see, your spiritual DNA is perfect. There is perfection within you. You're God's highest form of creation. There's absolutely nothing that will equal you. Nothing. That's very vague. Your spiritual DNA is perfect. It doesn't require any modification. It doesn't require any improvement. Just let the real you come out. That's very important. It's all knowing. In other words, all the knowledge there ever was or ever will be is within you. All the power there ever was or ever will be is within you. And I'm going to tell you something else. Doesn't matter where you are, it's all there. It's ever present. That's the real you. Are you truly who you pretend to be? These are pretty magnificent little tools, I think. I can stick it in my hip pocket. I could take your picture, hit send, and somebody on the other side of the globe would get it simultaneously with me sending it. You know the knowledge has always been here to build one of these? It's always been here. I had the potential and the power locked up in me when I was 25 years old and losing every time I went to do anything. It was all there. I wasn't using it. We just weren't aware of how to make these. All you're after is awareness. That's all you're seeking. If you'll listen carefully to people that come on these platforms, you'll develop a greater awareness. It's so magnificent when you stop. You're a spiritual being. You truly are God's highest form of creation. You live in a physical body. Most people say, this is me. This isn't me at all. This is merely the body I live in. I moved in it. I will move out of it. But it's not me. I'm not my suit either. Never heard anyone say, am hand. They say, my hand. My name. It's something you have. You know that you are the only creature, we are the only creatures on this planet that's totally disoriented in our environment. All the other little creatures are completely at home in their environment. They're completely at home in their environment. They blend in. We're disoriented because we don't blend in. We have been given the godlike tools to create our own environment. That's what separates us from all the rest of the animal kingdom. They operate by instinct, which is perfect. We operate with intuition, with our higher faculties. They're called intellectual factors. Most people don't even understand how they work. They don't even know they have them. Well, you hear them say perception every now and then. It's a word. It's a mental faculty. You can take a look at any situation you've got. Change your perception, the situation will change. Our good friend Wayne Dyer, who's gone now, God bless him, used to say, change the way you look at something, and what you look at will change. Change the way you look at this business. Change the way you look at the business. You know something? The business will change. This is not a difficult business. You have an intellect. It's how you use your intellect that's going to dictate your emotional state. And it's the emotion that fires this instrument we live in into action. Now let's take a look at it for a moment. We impress things upon our emotional mind with our thinking mind, our intellect. And our emotions change and the body changes. Now look at it. Spirit is 100% evenly present in all places at the same time. It's no one place, it's all places. You are a spiritual being. Spirit operates by law. Everything in the universe operates by law. That's why Von Braun said it was so easy to take the first of the minute. Let those lines represent levels of vibration. I showed you had to change the frequency you're thinking on, or you're going to think the same thoughts and you're going to keep getting the same results. Okay? Well, look, you're a spiritual being. You live in a physical body. It's important to get this straight. You have an intellect. And with your intellect, you can tap in on a higher level, on a spiritual level, and you can build whatever idea you want, because every one of these frequencies is hooked up to the one above or the one below. We have the ability to go wherever we want in our thinking. No one can stop us. All the great psychiatrists have been telling us this for a long time. We can start understanding it. Now, how can we explain this a different way? Let's look at it this way. Let's say that's a glass full of water. We call it water because of the speed it vibrates at. And we call the glass because of the speed it vibrates at. We used to call the glass sand. And we changed the molecular structure of the sand, or the energy, then we call it glass. We change the molecular structure of the water, and we call it steam. If you keep adding heat to the water, it becomes steam, and pretty soon it becomes aerates or gas. There's no line of demarcation where it stops becoming water, starts becoming steam, because every frequency is hooked up to the one above or one below. So you see, the ether, the steam, and the water is all connected. It just moves from one state into another. Well, you know, you can do that. You can actually do that. You're a spiritual being. You have an intellect, and you live in a physical body. You've got the ability with your intellect to tap into thoughts. Thoughts are omnipresent. You could be underwater and think. I worked with Captain Edgar Mitchell. He's gone now, God bless him, but he was the captain on the lunar landing module on one of the Apollo flights. He was transferring thoughts from the other side of the moon to Sherman Ford in southern United States. So keep thinking. Your ideas, if you hold on to them, must move into form. See, there's no one that can stop you from thinking what you want. You can sit and you can think and you can build the idea. An idea is a picture in your mind that you will be in the Chairman's Club at the next meeting. You say, no, I don't know how to do it by the next meeting, then that's probably the right goal. If you know how to do it, it doesn't constitute a goal, you're going sideways. You got to go after something you don't know how to do. That's how you grow. Goals are not to get, goals are to grow. No one knows what you're capable of doing. I would love to go further with this, but I don't have the time at my command to do it. But I want to leave you with this idea. You have more potential than you'll ever realize. I've been studying this seriously for 59 years, every day. I'm obsessed with studying. And I know I'm only scratching the surface. And I'll tell you something I know beyond the shadow of a doubt. There isn't one person in this room that's any better than another person in this room. Well, there may be people that are better off, there may be people living a grander life, but there's no one who's any better than anybody else. And if you think you are, you're in serious trouble. Don't let a few dollars or a couple of distinctions cause you to think you're better than somebody else. You're no better than anybody. You are all, and I am, God's highest form of creation. No one can guess at what you and I are capable of doing. Make certain that you leave here with the idea of where you're going to go. One of the laws is a perpetual transmutation of energy. Energy forever moving into form. Your idea will manifest. You just don't know when. You've got to guess at the time, but understand it will manifest. I want to thank all of you for your attention.